Welcome back mga ka-rider. So for today, gagawa po tayo ng reaction video regarding sa paggamit ng car oil sa ating motorcycle engine. Okay lang po bang gamitin ito sa ating motor or may masama po bang epekto ito? So napanood ko po itong video na ito from Revzilla, yung kanilang The Shop Manual series. So ito po yung video na to and panoorin po natin.
Oil is oil, right? I mean, 100 years ago, oil was all the same stuff, certainly. But today, there are some big differences between oil formulations, particularly when it comes to automotive oils versus motorcycle oils. But what are the distinctions? And more importantly, is it a bad idea to put car oil in your bike? Let's open up the shop manual and find out.
Car oil versus motorcycle oil.
If you think automotive oils and motorcycle oils are the same, ask yourself, are car engines and bike engines the same? Other than burning gas to push pistons, they actually have pretty different layouts. The biggest distinction is that in a car engine, the oil only has to lubricate the engine. The clutch is usually a dry unit and off in its own compartment, and the transmission is in its own compartment as well with dedicated transmission fluid. Meanwhile, the oil that fills a motorcycle's crankcase has to lubricate the engine, clutch, and transmission. So it has to be compatible with 3 systems instead of just 1. Add to that the fact that motorcycles tend to rev higher than cars, run harder than cars, and make more power per liter, and it really becomes an apples to oranges comparison.
So, good point, no? Yung unang tinakil niya is yung comparing ng dalawang engine. Automotive engine oil against motorcycle engine oil. So, what is the difference? So, there's a big difference. According nga sa kanya, apple to orange ang comparison. So, ang laking pagkakaiba. No? So, based dun sa explanation niya, automotive engine oil is gumagamit ng engine oil dun lamang sa kanyang engine part. So, yung clutch component niya, transmission component niya is all separated. So, hindi dumadaan ang oil doon. So, ang oil niya is nag-circulate lang doon lang mismo sa makina. Unlike sa motorcycle, which is dumadaan ng engine oil natin from makina, going to clutch, and then going to transmission. Plus, pinoint out niya yung tawag dito, yung how do you say that? Yung tawag dito, characteristic ng motorcycle engine, which is nagre-rev tayo ng mataas, mainit ang makina, plus yung ratio ng liter, power to liter ratio niya is mataas. So, tuloy po natin.
And the oil follows suit. At least it does now. Back in the day, there wasn't a difference between automotive oil and motorcycle oil. It was literally the same stuff. But as fuel efficiency became more of a priority in the 80s and 90s, automotive oil evolved in a way that made it unsuitable for the shared componentry of motorcycles. Specifically, friction modifiers were added to the oil that could cause a bike's clutch to slip under acceleration. These oils are denoted by an energy-conserving or resource-conserving label on the info donut displayed on every bottle. For the most part, the "it'll make your clutch slip" explanation is the only thing you'll hear about car oil versus bike oil. But that's not a guaranteed outcome, and it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Tip of the iceberg pa lang yung clutch slippage na nangyayari. Ito pa yung mga sinasabi usually ng mga old-timers na mga bikers nung araw na sinasabi nila na pag gumamit ka ng car oil sa inyong motorcycle is magkakaroon siya ng clutch slippage, mag-i-slip na yung clutch nyo, hindi na masyadong kakapit because of the friction modifier na ginamit ng mga manufacturer ng car oil sa kanilang oil. So yun yung nagkakos ng clutch slippage, pero according to this, yun pa lang ang tip. So meron pang ibang mas nakakatakot na marang mangyari sa ating makina pag gumamit tayo ng inappropriate oil sa ating motorcycle engine.
There are actually some other differences that make auto oil pretty inappropriate for motorcycles. And once again, it boils down to the fact that the fluid is shared in a motorcycle engine versus separate in a...
So yun yung pinopoint niya na naman, no? Yung the difference between car engine against the motorcycle engine, which is mas sa motorcycle engine shared ang components natin, like yung clutch and then yung transmission shared ang paggamit ng oil, unlike sa sasakyan na nakahiwalay yung mga component na yun. Kaya yung oil para lang talaga sa engine.
In a car. In a motorcycle engine, the transmission and clutch put the oil through hell. The gears crush, shred, and shear the additives in the lube. One group of molecules that...
So this means mas stress ang oil na dumadaan dun sa makina ng motorcycle dahil ang dami niyang moving parts, mechanical parts na dinadaanan. Yung thermal and then yung mechanical stress is mas malaki compared dun sa dinadaanan ng engine oil ng kotse.
That is particularly vulnerable to this mayhem are the viscosity index improvers. They're the polymer compounds that enable modern multi-weight oils to thicken as they get hot. This is an important behavior because it allows the oil to flow easily at startup in cold temperatures, yet still be thick enough when hot to effectively coat engine parts and prevent wear. It's a magic trick that happens thanks to VIIs that swell and expand as they get warm, causing the oil to flow more slowly and stick to parts better.
So, ang ganda po ng pagkaka-explain niya dito, no? Yung kinumpare niya yung VII or yung viscosity modifier, which is mga polymer coils yan, from cold room temperature and then to increase temperature. Makikita nyo, no? Medyo from here, lumalaki yung coils ng polymer. So, in a sense, mas habang lumalaki siya, mas nakukutan niya ng maigi at napoproteksyonan niya ng maigi yung mga moving parts and mechanical parts ng ating engine.
You can think of VIIs as spaghetti noodles that are bunched up when cold but unfurl once hot.
Okay, so mas kinumpare niya itong mga polymer coils na to spaghetti noodles. Nakakatuwa naman. Pero the purpose is to protect our engine from wear and tear. So mas maraming polymer, mas protektadong engine natin from wear and tear.
Viscosity index improvers come in several flavors, with some molecules offering excellent viscosity performance, but at the cost of durability. Other molecules aren't as efficient at changing the oil's thickness, but they are a lot hardier. Oil chemists call it shear stability, and it describes the oil's ability to maintain viscosity in the presence of physical and thermal stresses. A bike's transmission is a den of mechanical stresses, so needless to say, motorcycle oil uses more robust VIIs and in larger quantities.
Important point na sinabi niya is mas robust and mas madami ang quantity ng VII na ginagamit sa motorcycle engine because of the mechanical stress and thermal stress na dinadaanan ng mga to.
Meanwhile, the isolated oil in a car engine can get by with smaller doses of more efficient, more delicate VIIs.
So, sa car engine oil naman is konti lang ang ginagamit ng VII dahil nga sa isolated yung area na dinadaanan ng engine oil, which is sa makina lang talaga. So, hindi siya dumadaan sa grinding parts ng transmission, sa clutch, so wala siyang dinadaan ng ganun. So, mas konti ang ginamit nilang VII para sa mga car engine oil.
So, if you were to pour car oil into your bike, those VIIs are going to get shredded prematurely, the oil is going to thin out, and that means accelerated wear throughout your engine.
Another point, pag ginamit natin yung engine ng car oil sa motorcycle engine natin, it seems kukunti ang viscosity index niya or yung nagpo-protect sa wear and tear ng makina. Konti lang siya. So, ang mangyayari is mas mataas ang wear and tear na mangyayari sa motor natin pag ginamit natin yun, since kukunti lang yung magpo-protekta against wear and tear.
Likewise, motorcycle oil is formulated to get along with the clutch, not just to provide the right kind of friction, but also to deal with the dust that wears off the plates every time you pull a lever. To keep this crud and other debris from forming deposits in your engine, motorcycle oils use plenty of dispersants that aren't as important in auto oils. Similarly, you got stuff like high pressure additives, anti-wear additives, and other ingredients that are added to motorcycle oils in higher concentrations because they're critical to protecting the engine. So, How do you know if an oil is appropriate for life in a high-revving, hot-running, molecule-sharing motorcycle engine? And what should you do if you're out on the road and your bike is low on oil, but you don't have access to the right stuff? To answer the first question, there's a whole institute dedicated to rating motorcycle oils. The JSO, that is the Japanese Automotive Standards Organization, mandates specific tests for wet clutch performance as well as shear stability. And oils that meet JSO's standards will carry an MA, MA1, or MA2 label on the bottle.
Okay, so most of the motorcycle engine oil, meron siyang rating na JASO. So makikita niyo MA1, MA2, MA. So ilalagay ko po dito sa taas na to yung mga meaning, yung mga rating na yun.
Of course, you need to check your bike's owner's manual to see which flavor your motorcycle likes, but any one of them is going to do in a pinch. Speaking of binds, if you're out on a long ride or a road trip and you notice that your engine oil is low, you're going to want to top up, even if you don't have a JSO-rated oil handy. Non-energy conserving auto oil of the correct weight will work in a pinch.
Okay, ang sinabi niya, no, once pag nasa long ride tayo and then naubusan tayo ng kita natin medyo bumaba ang engine oil natin, pwede tayong magbanto o mag-top up using a non-conserving oil. Which is, pero mas maganda pa rin kung gagamitin natin na pambanto is yung talagang pang motorcycle engine oil. But pwede din tayong gumamit ng non-motorcycle engine oil. Pero pagkatapos ng ride, palit agad tayo.
And I will admit to doing plenty of road trip oil changes with auto oil, but the fact is it is not robust enough for long-term use in a motorcycle, and it is going to thin out and degrade.
So ang problema talaga by using car oil, mas madaling mag-thin out daw yung dito yung oil na yun. Mas madaling maubos yung kanyang viscosity index o yung nagpuprotekta sa wear and tear. So right after ng long ride, nagbanto tayo ng automotive oil, magpalit kagad tayo ng appropriate engine oil para sa ating motor.
Faster. Now, that won't happen in 100 or 200 miles, so it's fine to use temporarily. But you should plan on changing your oil ASAP to ensure your engine has proper protection from a quality motorcycle-specific oil.
Primary reason kung bakit hindi po pwede na gamitin ang automotive engine oil sa motorcycle is yung pagkakaroon ng motorcycle engine ng shared components. Meaning, lahat ng transmission gears, and then ang clutch system natin is nasa isang housing kasama ng engine. So, ang oil na gagamitin is pagdadaan din doon sa mga components na yun. So, mas marami siyang wear and tear na madadaanan. Mas magagasta ng ito ang viscosity index, yung polymer coils na nagpoprotekta sa wear and tear. Unlike sa engine oil, which is isolated ang engine oil, dun lang sa makina ng sasakyan. Hindi siya dumadaan sa clutch, hindi siya dumadaan sa transmission. So, mas konti ang kanyang viscosity index o yung polymer coils na nagpoprotekta sa engine. Now, magtatanong kayo, bakit pwede na ba namin siyang gamitin sa scooter? Dahil hindi naman siya dumadaan sa transmission, since variable transmission. Wala rin siyang clutch. So, kung titignan natin ang layout ng makina ng scooter, makikita nyo dito na hindi nga, umiikot nga lang ang oil niya from head ng engine papunta dun sa system. Doon lang siya. Wala siyang transmission, wala siyang dinadaan ng clutch. So, maaari, di ba? So, makes sense na pwede rin. Kaya lang, ang point natin doon, second reason kung bakit hindi pwedeng, one of the reason pala kung bakit hindi pwedeng, bakit mas magandang gamitin natin ang appropriate engine oil para sa ating motor is because of the viscosity index mismo. Ang viscosity index ng car engine is kokonti. So, hindi niya mapoproteksyonan ng maigi ang from wear and tear ang makina natin. Unlike dun sa motorcycle engine na maraming additives na ginagamit para maproteksyonan ang mga moving parts and mechanical parts ng ating motor. Although ang scooter engine is walang transmission gears na dinadaanan dahil ang transmission gears ng scooter is nakaiwalay din. Wala din siyang clutch, pero gagamitan mo siya ng engine oil na design lang para sa makina na sa engine lang dumadaan. Kukonti ang viscosity index nito, so hindi siya pwede talaga. So anyway, nasa sa inyo po ang desisyon. So hanggang dito na lang po. Thank you for watching and until the next video.